I want to tell you about the morning I came downstairs and found my mother-in-law's suitcases in my hallway. Not one suitcase. 4. Plus 2 boxes. Plus a lamp I recognized from her living room. Standing in my hallway on our first wedding anniversary. I want to back up. Daniel and I got married on a Saturday in September. It was a small wedding. 40 people. A restaurant we loved. A dinner that went until midnight. It was exactly what we had wanted. We had been together for 4 years before we got married. We had been living together for 2 of those years. We knew each other well. We knew each other's families well. I thought I knew what I was getting into. Our first anniversary was also a Saturday. Daniel had made a reservation at the same restaurant where we had gotten married. He had not told me where we were going. He had said dress nicely, it's a surprise. I had dressed nicely. I had come downstairs at 7 in the evening ready for whatever the surprise was. The surprise was 4 suitcases, 2 boxes, and a lamp from his mother's living room standing in our hallway. Daniel was in the kitchen. Patricia was in the kitchen with him. She was making tea. She was wearing a housecoat. At 7 in the evening on our first wedding anniversary. A housecoat. In my kitchen. I stood in the doorway. Daniel looked at me. He had the expression of a man who knows he has done something and has not yet found the words. Patricia smiled and said, "Sarah, you look lovely, are you going somewhere nice?" I asked Daniel if we could speak privately. We went to the bedroom. I closed the door. I asked him what was happening. He said his mother was going through a difficult time. I asked what kind of difficult time. He said her landlord had given her notice 2 months ago and she had been looking for a new place but nothing had worked out and the situation had become urgent in the last week. I asked him when he had found out. He said 2 months ago. I asked him why he hadn't told me. He said he had been hoping to resolve it before it affected us. I asked him how 4 suitcases in our hallway on our first wedding anniversary was him resolving it before it affected us. He said he was sorry. He said he had run out of time. He said it was only temporary. I asked him what temporary meant specifically. He said a few weeks. Maybe a month. He said she just needed time to find a new place. I told him a few weeks, maybe a month was not a definition of temporary. He said he knew. He said he was sorry. He said he had made the anniversary reservation and they could still go. I told him I did not want to go to our anniversary dinner with his mother's suitcases in our hallway and his mother in our kitchen in a housecoat making tea. He said he understood. I said I did not think he did. I want to be fair about Patricia. Patricia is not a cruel person. Patricia has never said anything to my face that I could point to as deliberately unkind. Patricia calls on birthdays. Patricia sends Christmas cards with handwritten notes. Patricia came to the hospital when I had my appendix out 2 years ago and sat in the waiting room for 4 hours and brought flowers and a puzzle book because she knows I like puzzles. I like Patricia. I want to be clear that I like Patricia. What I do not like is 4 suitcases in my hallway on my first wedding anniversary. What I do not like is my husband knowing for 2 months and saying nothing. What I do not like is a housecoat in my kitchen at 7 in the evening. I went back downstairs. I told Patricia I was glad she was here and I wanted her to be comfortable. I also told her I needed to speak with Daniel about arrangements and logistics and I would be back down shortly. She said of course and asked if I wanted tea. I said thank you. She made me tea. I took it upstairs and I did not drink it. I told Daniel that his mother could stay. I told him she could stay because she was his mother and she had nowhere to go and I was not the kind of person who could look at that situation and say no. I also told him that what he had done was not acceptable. He had known for 2 months. He had made a decision about our home and our life without telling me. He had made that decision land on our first wedding anniversary specifically because he had run out of time and had nowhere else to put it. He had taken something that was supposed to be ours and filled it with a problem he had been managing alone for 2 months. He said he was sorry. I told him sorry was a starting point. I told him we needed to talk about what temporary meant with a specific date. He said okay. I told him we needed to talk about how decisions about our home got made. He said okay. I told him the anniversary dinner was not happening tonight. He said he understood. He looked like he understood. Patricia stayed for 6 weeks. Not a few weeks, maybe a month. 6 weeks. She found an apartment at the end of week 5 and moved at the end of week 6. She was a considerate house guest. She cooked twice a week. She cleaned up after herself. She gave us space in the evenings. She asked before she used things. She was, genuinely, a considerate house guest. On the day she moved out, she hugged me at the door and said, "Sarah, I know this was not what you planned, and I am grateful every day that you are the kind of person you are." I said I was glad it had worked out. She said she owed me. I said family doesn't owe family. She cried a little. I cried a little. We stood in the doorway for a moment. Then she left. I want to tell you what happened the following week. Daniel made a new reservation at the restaurant. He called it our delayed anniversary dinner. He had flowers. He had a card with a long handwritten message. We went. We stayed until midnight. It was a good evening. But I am still sitting with something. I am sitting with the 2 months. I am sitting with the decision he made alone. I am sitting with the housecoat in my kitchen and the suitcases in the hallway and the anniversary dinner that didn't happen because my husband had been managing a problem in silence for 2 months and ran out of time on a Saturday in September. Patricia has moved out. The delayed anniversary dinner was lovely. Daniel has not done anything like this since. He says he learned something. I believe he learned something. I am still deciding if what he learned was enough. Was I wrong to let her stay? Or did finding 4 suitcases in my hallway on my first wedding anniversary answer the question of whether my husband understood what marriage actually meant? Down pointing finger emoji. Drop your verdict in the comments. NTA or AITA? Bell emoji. Subscribe to The Verdict for new stories every week. Because every story deserves a verdict.